Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams and we're back once again with another 24/7 news report. We start this news report with our headline news, and our headline news is that Tottenham have set their sights on appointing Nuno Espirito Santo as their next manager. This comes via TalkSport. So it looks like Everton are being pushed into a corner, really. Apparently we had stuff agreed with Nuno, but now we're looking at Rafa. The fans are kicking off about Rafa, which makes me think the board might go back to Nuno. I mean, Tottenham will probably pay for his entourage, and I don't think Daniel Levy's got a problem with doing that, and I think Nuno is probably the safer bet than Gattuso, who they're linked with, because as passionate as he is, he's a bit hot-headed, and I think he'd fall out with Daniel Levy in seconds and be out of a job. Whereas Nuno, I think, is a lot more of a yes man in terms of getting on with Daniel Levy, and I think Daniel Levy likes him. But it pushes Everton into a corner. Obviously, if they really want Nuno, they're going to have to give it him. Otherwise, they can't run the risk of Tottenham taking him. Or they're going to have to settle with Benitez or someone else. Gaultier still apparently rumoured. We can pray. Roberto Martinez is still linked. I think this pushes the club into a make or break about Nuno. It's a yes or no. There's no other way about it. We next have the news Jonjoe Kenny has interest from Arsenal as they look to sign another right back. This has come from Mail Sport. This one shocks me. Obviously, they've got Bellerin, who I don't think is very good. Personally, I think he's fast, but I don't think he's very good defensively, which as a wing back, right back is a quite big problem. I mean, if they offer enough money, I've heard Jonjoe Kenny. I've got a couple of Celtic friends who say he's not very good at Celtic. If the club don't see a future for him and Arsenal are willing to offer us a good amount of money, might as well let him go. There's no point being sentimental over it if there's enough money being offered and a good amount of money being offered for him. We also have the news from Footy Insider 24/7 that Rafa Benitez is getting cold feet regarding the manager's job due to protests from the fans. People close to Benitez have advised him to reject the offer. Benitez was offered it on Wednesday and is expected to be appointed by Thursday. So if he was expected to be appointed by last Thursday, I think it is just that they've seen the fan reaction. Everton have held off. If this is true, obviously, everything pinch of salt, But if they have, Everton have clearly cooled off and said, let's see if this calms down. And Benitez has seen the banners. And someone close to Benitez has probably said to him, listen, I know you're not bothered because you went to Chelsea, but is this a good idea? And it's not a good idea. I know there's some people out there that are Benitez in. I'm not. I think it's absolutely awful that he's even linked and being taken seriously. And I can't see him. I was saying it, but I said this on the live stream of the Toffee Blues. We're obviously a very attractive job. We will pay you good money. We'll probably add a hefty amount of years onto your contract, so we'd have to pay you a payout clause to sack you. We'll back you with money for the team. We are an attractive job. Whether non-Everton fans want to pull their face at it or not, we are an attractive job for an unemployed manager. But even then, Benitez, I wouldn't take it because you just are up against it straight away from day one. I know people are going, oh, he doesn't care, he went Chelsea. Chelsea-Liverpool rivalry is not Everton-Liverpool. We're a little bit more unforgiving. Chelsea don't really care. That's a competitive rivalry. They don't really care. We really do care. And the fans I've seen kicking off really care. But like I said, I've seen some people say he's in. Under 23s defender Joe Anderson has signed another 1-year contract with the club. We saw a couple of them being at a couple of players signing contracts. Nathan Broadhead got one the other day. If he's a good young player, I can't say personally I've watched a lot of him at the under 23s level, but if the club think he's got potential, if Unsworth sees it, then fair play. I think some of the under 23s are getting to a point now where we've got to see them integrated slowly into the first team. Go out on good developmental loans where they get games, or we need to start selling them on now. Just because you don't want, like Nathan Broadhead's 23 and he signed a new deal. Really at 23, you should be, pushing the first teamers really, because he's going to be like 25 and playing for the under 23. Personally, I think when you reach 23, you should be really trying to break the first team, and if you're not, maybe it's best if we move on. But that's my personal opinion. We also have some transfer news for you now, as exciting as always. We always love a bit of transfer news. And it is the man himself, Denzel Dumfries. He's going to be a transfer saga all summer, you can tell. His agent, Mino Raiola, has reported that he has held talks with Everton and Denzel Dumfries. The right back's been linked with the Blues in the last couple of months and is currently having a brilliant Euro 2020. And according to Spanish publication Sport by a Sport Witness, the Blues have already made contact with Raiola over a possible transfer. However, Bayern Munich and Inter have said to done the same. I mean, Raiola is apparently good friends with Marcel Brands. He's also Moise Kean's agent, and that was why we got Moise Kean, because him and Brands are good friends. So that gives me a little bit of hope. But obviously at the end of the day as well, it is down to the player, and Bayern Munich and Inter Milan are very, very good clubs to turn down. I don't know, I think he probably gets games at both clubs as well, to be honest. So it's tough. It's tough. Hopefully Marcel Brands' relationship does push it over and we do get him though, because he looks incredible. But I think he's going to cost us a bit, because like I've just said, he is having a fantastic Euros, which is something that we'd reported Marcel Brands was worried about, and rightly so. I think he's going to cost us pretty expensive. Everton are also interested in signing AC Milan striker Rafael Leao, with the Serie A side willing to sell him despite Ibrahimovic's knee injury. The 39-year-old is set to miss next season with an undergoing keyhole surgery. That was a tough one. The Daily Mail cite Calcio Mercato and claiming that Leao could be leaving the San Siro to fund a move for Chelsea's Olivier Giroud. I mean, going for Olivier Giroud seems an interesting one. He's a man in the, shall we say, the twilight years of his career, but he's a good player, so you can understand, and he's very similar to Ibra, so if that suits their style of play, fair enough. Rafael Leao, he looks promising. He's looked promising for the last couple of years. I think he's like 24 now. I mean, we need a striker. We need a backup striker. Moise Kean looks to go. So if we sell Moise Kean, use some of that money to buy him, I see that being quite smart business by Everton, which would help that we don't accept the loan move that PSG want and we just say, listen, this is him, you're selling him, you've got to buy him. No, being funny over it, you've got the money, hold it up. But yeah, I think we need a striker. Obviously we brought Josh King, but we've let him go quite rightfully. I don't think Josh King's the calibre we need. So I think he'd be a good signing for us. I really do. We also have in the news that Everton have told the Brazilian authorities have asked Everton if they'd release Richarlison in order for him to play in the Olympic Games this summer. But the Echo understands the Blues remain reluctant to let the 24-year-old play in Tokyo, so it's unlikely he'll get his wish to play in the tournament. The Brazilian Football Confederation have made contact with the Blues chiefs over the possibility of Richarlison playing in the Olympics next month after his participation in the Copa America, but Everton aren't keen. For me, I can understand this from Everton. Obviously, if he gets injured, he'll miss a lot of the season, the start of the season, and that will be bad for us. This is a player who's been linked with moves away we want to keep. I quite like Richarlison. I think he's got a lot of potential. But I think this goes two ways. I think you can upset him doing this, and if you upset him, he'll want to go. He'll want to go if we cost him, his Olympic shot. So this is a tough one for the Blues. I mean, I fully understand it's a business. At the end of the day, the club pays his wages. He's an employee of the club, so he will ultimately have to do what the club says. But I can just see if he really wants to play and we don't allow him, you can see that he might get a bit annoyed and want to leave. So that's something we've got to be careful of. But hopefully he understands. Or either that or the club let him go and he doesn't get injured. But I can see why the club are reluctant to let him go. But that is all we've got time for today on the news. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share it with all your friends, and comment down below on anything I've discussed today. What do you think about Nuno going to Spurs? Is it a missed opportunity? Are you glad Benitez looks like he might be getting cold feet? What do you think about the transfers? Rafael Leao, let us know down below if you've seen him play, if you like him, do you think he'll suit us? Yeah, and don't forget you can follow me and the Toffee Blues on Twitter. The link will be in the description down below. And most of all, guys, just take care, enjoy the nice weather, and peace out.